There's this question that comes up, I'd say fairly frequently from clients about sharing financials. The question is, should I share financials with my team? The short answer is yes. I'm a big believer in sharing financials with the team, with an asterisk. I think the answer is whatever number you want that team member to be responsible for, that's what they should see, and maybe nothing else. For example, if you have a GM and they have full P&L responsibilities, they're responsible from everything from the top line all the way to that net profit number. Did we make money or lose money? And they have influence and they have control over all of those things. Then I would share those numbers with them. Let's say we're talking about a reconstruction manager. I would share the numbers related to their jobs that they specifically own. Right? So for example, if I'm a recon manager and I am running 5 jobs, 8 jobs, whatever it is, and I'm planning to be running more, any job that is under my domain, any job that I'm going to be expected to hit a certain gross profit, how could you not share those numbers with me, right? Let's talk about then maybe you are a little bit larger and you don't just have 1 or 2 reconstruction managers, but you have 3 or 4, and you have we'll call that person a director of reconstruction services, right? Somebody who the 4 reconstruction managers reports to. In that case, I would give that person visibility into all the reconstruction jobs, right? A little bit different than just the construction manager who sees only his or her jobs. Now we've got a manager of the department. And again, it comes back to what are we going to hold that person accountable for? We're going to hold that person accountable for results for that division. So we're going to share the numbers for that division with that person. Same thing with mitigation manager. Share numbers for the whole division. Let's talk about a technician. Same kind of thing. If you look at it like I just explained a reconstruction manager, I would share the numbers for the jobs that are related, that are owned by a particular lead tech with that lead tech. For example, I would show them what they have control over. I'm not going to show them numbers related to overhead costs, right? Overhead costs of their manager, overhead costs related to a vehicle or equipment loan. What I am going to show them is what they have control over. Labor and maybe materials. Materials, we could get into another discussion, but for this video, I'm just going to keep it as just labor because that's the biggest part of a mitigation job from a cost standpoint. So they should see what the revenue is and they should see what the labor cost is. And they should know what their target is. In all of these cases, the people that you are holding accountable to get a certain financial result should know what the target is, right? If they don't know what the target is, how could they possibly hit it? In terms of a monthly P&L review, you might decide with your leadership team to show the top 2 sections of the P&L, the income and the cost of goods sold, but maybe not the expenses for different reasons. Maybe you run personal things through the business that you don't want them to see. Maybe you don't want them to see what your net profit is. If you do, that's okay. I don't want to discourage you from doing that, but do make sure that you make a point of helping them understand that debt service is not a part of the P&L. If you decide to show the whole P&L, right? Because you might show a net profit of, say, 20%. Say on $1 million, you show a net profit of $200,000. Maybe you don't want your team to think that you make that much money or know that you make that much money if you in fact do. But one of the things that doesn't show up on a P&L, as you probably know, say you have a $1,000 a month loan on a truck. Maybe you have 3 of those, right? So $3,000 a month. And maybe you have a $2,000 a month note on equipment. Maybe you have an idle loan. So maybe that's $10,000 a month. That $10,000 a month of principal, as you are probably aware, doesn't show up on your P&L, right? So take away $120,000 from that net profit number. It still is that $200,000 is truly your net profit. However, part of your profit is used to satisfy debt service, right? So a lot of times for owners that are sharing their entire P&L, people think that they just don't see the whole picture and they think the owner is making much more than they really are. Now, that could be another discussion, right? And I don't want to get too far in the weeds. This video is already longer than I intended it to be. So I hope that helps. I think the bottom line is whatever results you want from the individual person that you're considering sharing numbers with, I think you have to show them their numbers. I think it builds trust. I think it gives them something to shoot for. It's the old saying, right, that I said earlier in the video, if they don't know what the target is, how could they possibly hit it? I think it's a good thing. I'm a big fan. I did it in my businesses, and I do encourage clients to do it. A lot of people are reluctant though, and I understand. It's a bit of a leap of faith, right? All right, any questions, don't hesitate, reach out, scott@thegrowthleague.com.